Boston Whaler is one of those iconic companies that everyone is familiar with, whether you own one or not. Everybody has a whaler story, whether it starts with owning one of those 16-footers like when we were kids, or knowing someone who had one. The brand is nearly 60 years old now, and for the last 27 years, it was owned by 3 different conglomerates whose primary focus was not boating. Then, in 1996, it was bought by the Brunswick Corporation, which in our opinion was the best thing that ever happened to Boston Whaler. Today, with 31 models from 11 feet to 42 feet, it's stronger than ever before and leads the boating industry in sales in its market niche. Not only is it a market leader, but it's done so as a premium brand with prices to match. So the question begs, what is going on at Boston Whaler to endure so much passion both in its employees and with people outside the company? We thought we'd come to the factory, take a look for ourselves, and see if we can find out. The first thing I noticed is that there's so much longevity in the employment DNA. People have been here so long that they have roots here, literally. Their children end up working here.
My job here at Boston Whaler is design manager.
Electrical engineering manager.
Vice President of Sales, Marketing, and Customer Service.
Hull builder for the 42 Outrage.
QC for FRP building.
Been doing this job for 2.5 years.
About 6 months.
In 6 years.
8 years as a value stream leader.
Been for 3 years.
For 2.5 years.
I've been with Boston Whaler 18 years.
I started at Boston Whaler 21 years ago.
Been with Boston Whaler for 10 years.
For 19 years.
9 years.
22 years.
It's been great. Get to work with my engineers hands-on.
Oh, I love it. It's an amazing job, an amazing culture, an amazing company.
I love it. I get to build boats every day of my life.
We are basically building everybody else's dreams. I definitely want to plan on growing with Whaler.
But the Boston Whaler passion isn't all about longevity. It also starts with the new hires who are immediately integrated into the Boston Whaler family. And that all begins with one of the many training programs. Let's take a look. Everyone goes through the first week with dedicated trainers who are experts in their field, but whose sole purpose is training, getting feedback from the trainee throughout the whole process. Depending on the trade, the next step is either additional schooling or being paired up with an on-the-job trainer to teach them their specific function. Then there's a follow-up after the initial 2-week period where the team leaders ensure that everyone is up to speed and on the same page. It's also a chance for the new employee to rate the supervisors and trainers. This happens every 2 weeks, typically ending in roughly 90 days. This process turned a 60 to 70% employee turnover into 5 to 10%. And that circles back to the longevity. Once a customer is entered into the Boston Whaler family, it's an experience that can be as short or as long as the customer desires. Just want to buy a boat and be left alone? Can do. But for those that want to be immersed in the Boston Whaler experience, it's possible to have a rich and valuable relationship. Just recently, Boston Whaler hosted a customer rendezvous in the Bahamas. For 4 days, there were classes, electronics updates, mentoring, tutoring, and of course, plenty of free time to enjoy the surroundings. More importantly, the executives of the company are right there along with the designers and engineers, all intermingling with the customers and getting direct feedback on the product and how to constantly improve it. And this not only reinforces the relationship with Whaler, it also creates new friends among the Whaler community. Virtually no one comes out of these events without building new friendships. This has become a project for me that was pretty interesting because I already had passion for Boston Whaler. I started out with a Boston Whaler when I was a kid, so it was already something that I was involved with. But in my tour of the factory, I found that the employees have a passion that runs much deeper than that, and more to the point, it's infectious. It carries on from one person to the next, from one family member to the next, and that's something I didn't expect, but it is something I came away with. And that's my look at the passion of Boston Whaler. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.